Hey guys, I'm Alistair from Trail & Kale and this is my Salomon Sense Ride 5 review. So this is Salomon's latest iteration of the Sense Ride version 5, and basically what this shoe is for, or what it's marketed for at least, is for people who want to be able to do it all. So that's anything from short distances to long distances and running over a variety of different types of trail. So that could be anything from wet, muddy, sloppy kind of trails, hard, rocky, buff trails, forest trails, you name it, the Sense Ride 5 should be able to do it. But how well does the Sense Ride 5 do those things? Well, that's what I'm going to go over and that's what I'm going to cover in this review, because there are some great points of this shoe, things I really like about them, but also a few gripes that I don't really like about the shoe. So hopefully by the end of this Salomon Sense Ride 5 review, you will know whether these trail running shoes are for you or not. Now the Salomon Sense Ride 5 does fit true to size. It's a medium to wide width running shoe, but it's true to size. So if you're used to running in Salomon, go with your usual size and you should be pretty happy with that. I'm going to start this review by going over the key specifications that you should definitely know about. Then I'm going to go over the good points that I really like about the shoe and some bad points that I don't like about the shoe. Then I'll offer some alternative trail running shoes that you might want to look at in case you feel like these won't be for you. And then I'll share my opinion on whether they're worth the cost or not. All of which I'll be going over in this review. First off then, the Salomon Sense Ride 5 costs $140. I have a British accent, but I live here in California in the USA, so I will be speaking in dollars and things like ounces. What's the usage for this shoe? Well, it is, as I said earlier, it's designed for a mixture of trails, any kind of runner, any distance as well. So it really is an all-terrain running shoe that's designed for anyone wanting to run anything. The weight of the Sense Ride 5 is 11.1 ounces, which isn't the lightest running shoe by any means. Certainly feels nice and light, and when I'm running in them, they do feel pretty light as well. But 11.1 ounces, I feel like Salomon could shave a little bit of weight off here. I wonder if it's coming from this pretty nice protective and padded upper. The drop from heel to toe is 8 millimeters, so that puts you in a little bit of a forward-leaning stance. Some people will like that. Many trail or die-hard trail runners may not like that. They may prefer a lower drop, say 4 millimeter, which gives them a little bit of a better ground feel and puts them in a little bit of a better running form stance when running up and downhill. But 8 millimeter on this shoe, to be honest, it doesn't feel high at all. It feels very nice. Toe box then, I would say it's a medium width, but when you put your feet in there at first, it feels quite wide. That means that the Sensi Fit, which is what Salomon calls their fit locking system with these trail running shoes, that means that that Sensi Fit has room to kind of fit around your shoe, so it can around your foot, so it conforms around different shaped feet, which is really nice. Not perfect though, and I will go into that a little bit more in just a moment. So because of that extra space, I would say if you've got medium to wide feet, closer to the medium side, then these shoes will be for you. If you've got very narrow feet, they won't be for you. And if you've got very wide feet, they won't be for you either. And then the cushioning on the Sense Ride 5 is moderate. So that's Salomon speak for in the middle. It's not plush and it's not really, really firm. So it's just something in the middle there. So that will appeal to a lot of people. Having said that, Salomon running shoes do run firmer than some other brands like Nike or Hoka, for example. I will compare this shoe to a couple of Hokas and a few other Salomon trail running shoes I've got in just a moment, but just so you know, they are generally firmer than other running shoes. And Salomon does that because they want you to feel the trail and they want you to get that overall responsive ride from your trail running experience. So pros and cons there for sure. And then finally, the stability of the Sense Ride 5 is neutral. So you won't get any additional support for if you need extra arch support or overpronation support, for example, then none of that's there. It's just neutral, so it will fit most people. Okay then, what are the features that I applaud the most? What are the standout features that are good in my opinion? Well, first off, as with many Salomon trail running shoes right now, it's this Contagrip on the outsole. Hopefully you can see this here. Nothing majorly fancy going on with the tread pattern. You can see it is kind of weaved and wiggly, which does dig in very well to the trails, I guess. But for me, it's the sticky Contagrip rubber, which is just exceptional. It will help you stick to the trail, whether you're going on super steep downhills or whether you're climbing up steep uphills. The lugs kind of wrap around the front here a little bit, so it does dig into the trails very nicely. And it does also lock onto the trails very well when you're running downhill too. So Contagrip I absolutely love. Yeah. Don't change that, Salomon. This is one of the best features of your running shoes. Number two then, for the features that I like, would be the quick lace system. I think all the Salomon trail running shoes have it nowadays. All it means is you can just drawstring, pull it tight, and it will adjust the laces for you really nice and quickly. And then all you do is you get hold of the loose bit on the end, stick it in the pocket in the tongue, and then it's all stowed away in the shoe, so your laces don't come undone and you don't have excess laces flapping around because it's all stored in the tongue. It's a really nice feature. That means also that the laces are very thin, very wiry, so it kind of pulls through the lacing system when you just pull on that cincher. So it works really nicely, and you may think that wiry laces like this might dig into the top of your foot. Well, that doesn't happen because the tongues are nice and padded. So great lacing system and creates a good fit. The Sense Ride, as you can imagine, does have a very nice ride to it. It's very responsive, so I really like how it feels. The kind of energy return you get from the midsole here, the energy foam, is really great. You will find you will be running probably faster than you may be used to if you're used to running in a more plush shoe. It's just got great response, and I really like being able to feel the trail under my feet. The fifth thing that I really like about this trail running shoe then is the design. Now the colors on this particular one is pretty retro. I quite like that, but that's not really what I'm referring to. I just kind of like the silhouette of it. It looks quite traditional. It just looks really nice, kind of aggressive, but at the same time friendly. Moving on to the bad points of this Salomon Sense Ride 5 trail running shoe. The main issue that I have with it is what's going on in the inside of the upper, just on top of your forefoot, over the toe box area here. It's this area here, which if you put your hand inside the shoes, obviously I can't show you this, but it's how the tongue is connected to the upper. There's a bit of overlapping material there, and it does constrict your foot a little bit, so there's not a huge amount of space above your foot for when the shoe kind of flexes. So if you can imagine, this is where there's material inside the upper. When that flexes, that additional material puts pressure on the top of your foot. Now if you have extremely thin feet, I'm not sure if that's a thing, but if you do, then you might not notice that. But I think most people are going to notice that. I certainly did, and I've got very much average feet, average width, and just generally pretty average feet. So anyway, I feel that, and I don't really like it. It's constricting the top of my feet. And because of that, I'm unable to lock my forefoot into the shoe effectively. And that's made a little bit worse by how the upper is designed here. This section of the lacing really can't be adjusted much tighter anyway, because of where it is within this rigid part of the upper. It just won't flex inwards. It's not physically possible. So Unfortunately, you know, I'd like to be able to lock my foot in tighter in that region, but I can't because of that material on the inside of the upper. And the fact that I can't means that there is a little bit of slip forward to the front of the shoe. So I found that my big toe was kind of hitting the front of the toe box on really steep downhills. Now, I didn't experience this on running on the flats or kind of, you know, steady downhills. But when I'm running super steep downhills and, you know, I've got to turn at a moment's notice or lock my foot in to make sure I don't go flying, then my feet definitely hit the front of the shoe. And there's not really much I can do about that, unfortunately, to fix the issue. Like I said, if you're not running crazy steep terrain, then this won't be a problem for you. And maybe the fit and the comfort of the inside of a shoe might not be a problem for you, but it certainly is for me, and I don't get that problem on some other shoes. So anyway, thought you should know about that. The second thing I'm not too keen on with this shoe is, again, it's with this area here, and it's the flex. There's not a huge amount of flex across the shoe. It is literally just here, this point of the shoe, and that flex is where my foot kind of gets constricted when the flex happens. So that's the only thing I don't really like about this shoe. The other thing, I guess you could shave a little bit of extra weight off it. The Ultra Glide 2, which I recently reviewed, that's this shoe here, and it's a very similar shoe, to be honest. I do rate this one, the Ultra Glide 2, over the Sense Ride 5. I just prefer the fit. It's much more comfortable to me. It is a little bit heavier, but there's more cushioning underfoot. It's got the same Contagrip on the outsole. Not as breathable, but generally I'm willing to sacrifice a few of those things for a more comfortable ride. So that's that shoe. Also then, speaking to the midsole cushioning, I said earlier that Salomon is generally on the firmer side. So if you do like a cushioned running shoe, you might want to look at Hoka as well. It's another option. This is the Mafat Speed 4, which is another do-it-all running shoe. It is a bit more expensive. I think it's around $180 right now. But the outsole tread traction is insanely good as well. On par, if not better, than the Contagrip. Cushioning's great. I just feel these Hoka shoes in particular are just crazy comfortable when you put them on. But if you like a more firm ride, more responsive ride, you like to feel a little bit of a trail underneath you, then go with a Salomon Sense Ride 5. Here's another one, which is the Tecton X2. That's the carbon plate running shoe from Hoka. Excellent cushioning again. It's got the ProFly midsole, which gives you extra cushioning on the top, but then a firmer ride on the bottom, so you get that responsiveness and the cushioning in these shoes, as well as the propulsion from the carbon plate that runs through the midsole. So that's definitely another good running shoe to look at if you want to go fast. If you're racing on the trails, then these are definitely worth looking at, and that's my top pick for a racing shoe right now. I'm also going through multiple Salomon trail running shoes right now. I've got a ton in testing, so I'm very excited to be bringing you some more Salomon trail running shoe reviews very soon. The Salomon Sense Ride 5 then costs $140. Do I think they are worth $140? Well, $140 isn't that much for a trail running shoe, so yes, definitely worth it. I definitely recommend, if you are looking for a shoe that does it all, definitely give them a try. You might not have that issue with the fit like I did. I would recommend giving these a go for $140. You get a heck of a lot of shoe. Amazing traction with the Contagrip. The upper is super durable. It's also very breathable. I like to breathe through the upper like so. With my hand inside the shoe, that way I know how much airflow is going through. And I can tell you there's plenty of airflow here, so very breathable, so you will get good temperature regulation when you're running, whether that's in hot or cold situations or environments. Yeah, definitely give them a try. If you're looking to up your game, looking for a do-it-all shoe for all-terrain, what a rhyme that was. Definitely look into the Salomon Sense Ride 5. Well, thanks for tuning in and watching this Salomon Sense Ride 5 trail running shoe review. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gave you some insights, and some of these running clips over here of me testing them out on my local trail was beneficial to you, so you can see what they're like on my feet, see my joy in my face when I'm running on some downhills in these shoes, and even running uphill, because they do climb very well. So yeah, thanks for watching. Give this video a like, subscribe to our channel for more running shoe reviews just like this one, and I'll see you next time.